Okay, Dara, hi. I'm gonna read you the Odyssey. Like, it's gonna take one night. I'm gonna read the whole thing tonight. I'm gonna read you to sleep, and I don't know how far I'll get, but I'll read the Odyssey, and you can listen to it as you're going to sleep, and you can fall asleep when you feel like it, and then you can start where you left off, where you remember before you fell asleep. And I'll do a little bit at a time so that you have something to fall asleep to. Okay, now to give you a little context, let's see if I can give you a little context. Let's read the inside here. Here's what it says. Sing to me of the man, muse, the man of twists and turns, driven time and again off course. Once he had plundered the hallowed heights of Troy. So begins Robert Fagel's magnificent translation of the Odyssey, which Jasper Griffin in the New York Review of Books hails as a distinguished achievement. If the Iliad is the world's greatest war epic, then the Odyssey is literature's grandest evocation of every man's journey through life. Odysseus's reliance on his wit and wiliness for survival and his encounters with divine and natural forces during his 10-year voyage home to Ithaca after the Trojan War is at once a timeless human story and an individual test of moral endurance. In the myths and legends that are retold here, Fagles has captured the energy and poetry of Homer's original in a bold contemporary idiom and given us an Odyssey to read aloud, to savor and to treasure for its sheer lyrical mastery. So a translation. So the translator is Robert Fagles. Okay, he took the work, and translators try to preserve the quality of the original writing. This is Homer's work, but Fagles is the translator. Okay, I think we can start. Here's a little introduction that the publisher does. The Greeks believed that the Iliad and the Odyssey were composed by a single poet whom they named Homer. Nothing is known of his life. While 7 Greek cities claim the honor of being his birthplace, ancient tradition places him in Ionia, located in the eastern Aegean. His birth date is undocumented as well, though most modern scholars now place the composition of the Odyssey in the late 8th or early 7th century BC. Robert Fagles. Okay, we don't need to know too much about Robert Fagles. He's a professor at Princeton, where you're going to go to school. Okay. Okay. Well, that doesn't give us much. So we begin with the introduction. I'll also mispronounce a million things while I'm reading this, so that'll be fun. The Odyssey. Odyssey is a familiar English word, meaning, according to Webster, a series of adventurous journeys usually marked by many changes of fortune. The Greek word Odyssea, the form from which the English word is derived, means simply the story of Odysseus, a Greek hero of the Trojan War who took 10 years to find his way back from Troy to his home on the island of Ithaca, off the western coast of mainland Greece. Homer's Odyssey, so this is the introduction to the Odyssey, which is going to tell us about the Odyssey. Then there's the spelling and pronunciation of Homeric names. Well, that's helpful. We have a map here. We have a map of a Homeric geography map. Oh, of mainland Greece. And by the way, Dara, we're Greek. According to our my DNA test. Okay, the Ionian Sea. This is, the Peloponnese. the Aegean and Asia Minor. And then it begins. Okay, well, let's read a little of the intro. It's kind of helpful. Okay, so the Greek word simply means the story of Odysseus, a Greek hero of the Trojan War who took 10 years to find his way back from Troy to his home on the island of Ithaca, off the western coast of mainland Greece. Homer's Odyssey does indeed present us with adventurous journeys and changes of fortune, but it is also an epic tale of a hero's return to find at home a situation more dangerous than anything he faced on the plains of Troy or in his wanderings over uncharted seas. Let's see if I can turn this screen away from me a little bit. The glare in my glasses is... Ooh. No, I don't think I can, but what I can do is I can make the screen go darker. There we go. The Greek philosopher Aristotle, writing in the 4th century BC, gives us, in his treatise known as the Poetics, what he considers the essence of the plot. A certain man has been abroad many years. He is alone, and the god Poseidon keeps a hostile eye on him. At home, the situation is that suitors for his wife's hand are draining his resources and plotting to kill his son. Then, after suffering storm and shipwreck, he comes home, makes himself known, attacks the suitors. He survives and they are destroyed. This terse summary is the armature of an epic poem that consists of 12,109 lines of hexameter verse, composed probably late in the 8th century. Hexameter? BC, or early in the 7th. See, if I read to you, I'm going to want to underline things that I see. Now, the epic poem, something that I read in my freshman year at Hampshire College, but I skimmed it and I didn't really read it. I think we were given like 1 week to read it, and I was not prepared intellectually for that. Okay, but of course you at 12 years old will be able to go to sleep to it. Okay. Maybe I won't read you the whole introduction. I think that would bore you. The book might bore you. Actually, boring you is my whole goal, Dara, because I want you to sleep, and I'm trying to help you to sleep. And I think reading you the Odyssey is a good way to do it. But maybe, just maybe, you'll get into it. I can read the introduction sometime on my own. Okay, we're going to start. But first, we're going to not have something hyper playing in the background. Here we go. It's very dramatic. The Odyssey. Okay. I thought that Beethoven's sonatas, there we go. That would be good. Book 1, Athena inspires the prince. It's not the right music for this, but the music might help you fall asleep too, if I can get the right one. Not that. I need... Sing to me of the man, Muse, the man of twists and turns, driven time and again off course. Once he had plundered the hollow heights of Troy. Many cities of men he saw and learned their minds, many pains he suffered, heartsick, on the open sea, fighting to save his life and bring his comrades home. But he could not save them from disaster. The music is all wrong, Dara. I don't know that I'll be able to find the right music. I need something gentle. And let's do some, see what I can find here. Okay, we'll do this. Okay. Many cities of men he saw and learned their minds. Many pains he suffered, heartsick on the open sea, fighting to save his life and bring his comrades home. But he could not save them from disaster, hard as he strove. The recklessness of their own ways destroyed them all. The blind fools, they devoured the cattle of the sun, and the sun god blotted out the day of their return. Launch out on his story, Muse, daughter of Zeus. Start from where you will. Sing for our time, too. By now, all the survivors, all who avoided headlong death, were safe at home, escaped the wars and waves. But one man alone, his heart set on his wife and his return. Calypso, the bewitching nymph, the lustrous goddess, held him back, deep in her arching caverns, craving him for a husband. But then, when the wheeling seasons brought the year around, that year spun out by the gods when he should reach his home, Ithaca. Though not even there would he be free of trials, even among his loved ones. Then every god took pity, all except Poseidon. He raged on, seething against the great Odysseus, until... There's a note here. I don't think that's my writing. I must have bought this as a used book. He raged on, seething against the great Odysseus, till he reached his native land. But now Poseidon had gone to visit the Ethiopians worlds away. Ethiopians off at the farthest limits of mankind, a people split in two, one part where the sun god sets, and part where the sun god rises. There Poseidon went to receive an offering. Bulls and rams by the hundred. Far away at the feast, the Sea Lord sat and took his pleasure. But the other gods, at home in Olympian Zeus's hall, met for full assembly there, and among them now the father of men and gods was first to speak, sorely troubled, remembering handsome, oh man, Aegisthus? Aegisthus? That's as close as I'm gonna get with that. Aegisthus? The man Agamemnon's son, renowned Orestes, killed. Recalling... I'm not gonna be able to do it. Aegisthus. Let's see. Let's go back to my pronunciation section. Are you gonna tell me how to say it? That would be great. It's not exactly. Let's look it up. I hate to interrupt our reading, but okay. Someone else has looked this up before, pronunciation. Okay, here we go. Come on.
The following pronunciation is brought to you by pronouncenames.com.
Okay, let's go.
Aegisthus.
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 Aegis.
Aegisthus.
This. Aegis. This.
Aegisthus.
Okay. Let's see what we can do. Okay, recalling Aegisthus, Zeus harangued the immortal powers. Ah, how shameless, the way these mortals blame the gods. From us alone, they say, come all their miseries, yes, but they themselves, with their own reckless ways, compound their pains beyond the proper share. Look at Aegisthus, now, above and beyond his share. He stole Atrides' wife. He murdered the warlord coming home from Troy, though he knew it meant his own total ruin. Far in advance we told him so ourselves, dispatching the guide, the giant killer Hermes. Don't murder the man, he said. Don't court his wife. Beware, revenge will come from Orestes, Agamemnon's son. That day he comes of age and longs for his native land. So Hermes warned with all the goodwill in the world. But what Aegisthus' hardened heart give way. Now he pays the price, all at a single stroke. And sparkling-eyed Athena drove the matter home. Father, son of Cronus, our high and mighty king, surely he goes down to a death he earned in full. Let them all die so, all who do such things. But my heart breaks for Odysseus, that seasoned veteran cursed by fate so long. Far from his loved one still, he suffers torments off on a wave-washed island rising at the center of the seas, a dark wooded island, and there a goddess makes her home, a daughter of Atlas, wicked Titan, who sounds the deep in all its depths, whose shoulders lift on high the colossal pillars thrusting earth and sky apart. Atlas's daughter it is who holds Odysseus captive, luckless man, despite his tears, forever trying to bind his heart with suave, seductive words, and wipe all thought of Ithaca from his mind. But he, straining for no more than a glimpse of hearth smoke drifting up from his own land, Odysseus longs to die. Olympian Zeus, have you no care for him in your lofty heart? Did he never win your favor with sacrifices burned beside the ships on the broad plain of Troy? Why, Zeus, why so dead set against Odysseus? My child, Zeus, who marshals the thunderheads, replied, what nonsense you let slip through your teeth. Now how on earth could I forget Odysseus? Great Odysseus, who excels all men in wisdom, excels in offerings too. He gives the immortal gods who rule the vaulting skies. No, it's the earth-shaker Poseidon, unappeased, forever fuming against him. For the Cyclops, whose giant eye he blinded, godlike Polyphemus, towering over all the Cyclops' clans in power. The nymph Thusa bore him, daughter of Phorcys, lord of the barren salt sea. She met Poseidon in his vaulted caves, and they made love. And now for his blinded son, the earthquake god, though he won't quite kill Odysseus, drives him far off course from native land. But come, all of us here put heads together now, work out his journey home so Odysseus can return. Lord Poseidon, I trust, will let his anger go. How can he stand his ground against the will of all the gods at once? One god alone. Athena, her eyes flashing bright, exalted. Father, son of Cronus, our high and mighty king, if now it really pleases the blissful gods that wise Odysseus shall return home at last, let us dispatch the guide and giant killer Hermes down to Ogygia Island, down to announce at once to the nymph with lovely braids our fixed decree. Odysseus' journey's home, the exile must return. While I myself go down to Ithaca, rouse his son to a braver pitch, inspire his heart with courage to summon the flowing-haired Achaeans to full assembly. Speak his mind to all those suitors, slaughtering on and on his droves of sheep and shambling longhorn cattle. Next I will send him off to Sparta and sandy Pylos, there to learn of his dear father's journey home. Perhaps he will hear some news and make his name throughout the mortal world. That was her speech. So Athena vowed, and under her feet she fastened the supple sandals, ever glowing gold, that wing her over the waves and boundless earth with the rush of gusting winds. Athena's sandals are gold, not silver. of gusting winds. She seized the rugged spear, tipped with a bronze point, weighted heavy, the massive shaft she wields to break the lines of heroes the mighty father's daughter storms against. And down she swept from Olympus's craggy peaks and lit on Ithaca, standing tall at Odysseus's gates, the threshold of his court. Gripping her bronze spear, she looked for all the world like a stranger now, like Mentes, lord of the Taphians. There she found the swaggering suitors, just then amusing themselves with rolling dice before the doors. Lounging on hides of oxen, they had killed themselves, while heralds and brisk attendants bustled around them, some at the mixing bowls mulling wine and water, others wiping the tables down with sopping sponges, setting them in place. Still other servants jointed and carved the great sides of meat. First by far to see her was Prince Telemachus, sitting among the suitors, heart obsessed with grief. He could almost see his magnificent father here in the mind's eye. If only he might drop from the clouds and drive all these suitors all in a rout throughout the halls and regain his pride of place and rule his own domains. Daydreaming so, as he sat among the suitors, he glimpsed Athena now, and straight to the porch he went. Mortified that a guest might still be standing at the doors. Ooh, that's a really powerful image. Telemachus. So what's happening here is Telemachus is home with his mom, and he's like surrounded by all these terrible and horrible and annoying suitors that are trying to take over for Odysseus. And he glimpses the goddess Athena. He glimpsed Athena now, and straight to the porch he went, mortified that a guest might still be standing at the doors. The reason this is significant is because in Greek culture, hospitality was really important. That a porch or a house, a door, an entryway is a place of welcome, and that strangers are not shut out. Pausing beside her there, he clasped her right hand, and relieving her at once of her long bronze spear, met her with winged words. "Greetings, stranger. Here in our house you'll find a royal welcome. Have supper first, then tell us what you need." That's how a stranger should be greeted at the door. This is an important lesson. It's sad when people forget, especially people who should know better, how to treat people hospitably and with kindness and welcome. He led the way, and Pallas Athena followed. Once in the high-roofed hall, he took her lance and fixed it firm in a burnished rack against a sturdy pillar. There were a row on row of spears, and embattled Odysseus' spear stood stacked and waiting. Then he escorted her to a high, elaborate chair of honor. Over it draped a cloth, and here he placed his guest with a stool to rest her feet. This is a beautiful scene. But for himself, he drew up a low reclining chair beside her, richly painted, clear of the present suitors. Clear of the press of suitors concerned his guest, offended by their uproar, might shrink from the food in the midst of such a mob, so he doesn't want the suitors to turn Athena away. He hoped what's more to ask him about his long-lost father. A maid brought water soon in a graceful golden pitcher, and over a silver basin tipped it out so they might rinse their hands, then put a gleaming table to their side. So this is kind of interesting to think about Greek rituals and gathering Like, imagine kind of washing your hands every time you went into your friend's house or you went to someone's house. We should do this. We should adopt a little more Greek hospitality. We'll do some fun rituals. That would be a fun activity. Okay. A staid housekeeper brought on bread to serve them. Appetizers aplenty too, lavish with her bounty. Now that's something that's like our family, offering food. But remember, it's about offering the food to a stranger, not just to people you know and are comfortable with. A carver lifted platters of meat toward them, meats of every sort, and set beside them golden cups. And time and again a page came round and poured them wine.